for the next 2 years on our defense. They were testing out strategies against our team at the end of that game. So they pulled out the merry-go-round play. They actually scored a touchdown, but there was a holding call, and they pulled it back. But what the Chiefs players did is they bounced around on our field in front of their home crowd at our stadium, and they pranced around to confuse the Raiders defense. Oh, what players are in there? I can't see. Is Patrick Mahomes in there? Then they all break the line, and you don't know what player went where, and then they lined up really quickly and did a play. Like a reverse rope-a-dope, whatever. That play strategy is to confuse the defense, because if a player's assignment is to follow one certain player, they don't know who's in there, who's not. They break the huddle. They're like, oh, where's Patrick Mahomes? Oh, Patrick Mahomes is lined up over there. I got to get over there. Then the other defensive players, oh, I got to get this guy. Oh, so then they're all confused. And they scored a touchdown. It was called back. But they did all of this in an embarrassing fashion to our entire fan base and organization. Maybe this was revenge for the bus trip that apparently Gruden took around the stadium when we won. This is Andy Reid's trick against the Raiders. Let's be honest with you. Andy Reid did this because he's an actual good coach, and he wanted to rub it in. Or he wanted to rub one out. Here's the funny thing. They scored on that play, but it was taken back. And the next play, they just went out and scored again. Hey, we could score in the Raiders anytime we like. Anytime. On their home field, we could dance around in a merry-go-round. We could bring all of our fans into their stadium where it's probably 80% Chiefs fans and 20% Raider fans in a location that would suit Raider fans. But Raider fans are priced out. They can't afford. We get kicked out of games for bringing signs. We'll talk about that later. This is embarrassing. Whichever way you slice it, it's embarrassing. And I'm very, very embarrassed for the Raider Nation. Now, post-game, McDaniel's reaction coming from me. And in this post-game pressure, I think I'm going to expose all the secrets and reasons why McDaniel's is not a Raider, will never be a Raider, has not bought into the Raiders mentality, and is a bad coach. Everybody knows I hated Gruden. Gruden was at least a Raider. Except when he got traded to the Bucs, then he was a pure Buck, and he wanted revenge on the Raiders, and him and Bill Callahan got together, and they got revenge. But when Gruden came back, I don't like him. I don't like his coaching style. He's too brash, too ridiculous. I know he created sabotage against the Raiders. But John Gruden, at least in his heart, because the fans have loved him forever, has always wanted to be a Raider. And he's a better Raider than McDaniel's. Even though I didn't want him as our quarterback. I miss him now. I miss him. Oh, well, he's a misogynist. He's a this, he's a that. He's a racist. Relax. Relax. I don't even think he said a bad word or the N-word or whatever. He just said big lips. A lot of people got big lips. Those people, the Kardashians got big lips. A lot of people act like monkeys. You can't prove intention, but still, I miss Gruden compared to McDaniels. Let's expose McDaniels on why he's not a Raider in this press conference. All right, let's see if I can get it loaded.
All right, Credit. Congratulations to Coach Reed.
First off, he's always nervous. Every time he gets to a pressure, except when he's happy after a loss or, removing Derek Carr from the team. He's happy. Hey! Woo! 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 Sometimes after a loss, he's like a little happy, but he's also nervous. And now here's the nervous McDaniel's. Ooh. I lost again in front of the public, but I wanted to lose. But, I'm nervous to talk to them because, I'm being exposed every week by Mikey Rader. I'm being exposed every week by Mikey Rader. People they expose me all the time. We're all full of shit. But let's listen to McDaniel's and talk his madness.
And the Chiefs. That's a really good football team. And
hey, let's give credit to Andy Reid and the Chiefs. They're a really good football team. Oh, you noticed that, huh? You noticed they're a good team.
They're well coached and do a lot of things the right way. And
they're well coached and do a lot of things the right way. Are you hinting at we don't do them the right way? Because if we don't do them the right way, and that's what you're hinting at, you're our head coach. So if we don't do things the right way, and you're our head coach, see, I'm acting like a monkey.
Obviously, they earned it today for sure, and got off to a good start. And we never really could really get much rhythm or momentum going in the game. So, again, congratulations to them, and we'll learn a lot from this, obviously. We'll
learn a lot from this, obviously. I think he said that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many games do we have this year?
We're chasing, that's for sure. So
they're what we're chasing. You shouldn't be chasing the Kansas City Chiefs. You shouldn't be trying to be like the Kansas City Chiefs. You should be trying to become the Raiders. Create a dynasty on your own. Create a Raider playbook. Then come after the Chiefs.
Josh, now that the season's over, do you immediately just go right into, do you even review the film, or does it just go right into the offseason immediately?
Oh, no. Well,
there it is. There's the stool pigeon reporter, Hondo Carpenter, asking the first question like always after a game. He is the Raiders and McDaniel's stool pigeon reporter. He brought up the Carr situation after the Pittsburgh game. Are you going to look at Carr and evaluate him for next week? Are you going to start evaluating other guys for the next 2 weeks? I don't know if I'm thinking about that. I'll have to take a look at it. Did you just promote the agenda, Hondo Carpenter, for Josh McDaniels and the fans to take the bait that Carr had a bad game, and now you're thinking about evaluating? Hondo Carpenter, right away, first question. Now that the season's over, well, thank you, Hondo. Appreciate it. Are you gonna evaluate? Go back to the drawing board? He said, no.
Josh, now that the season's over, do you immediately just go right into, do you even review the film, or does it just go right into the offseason immediately?
Oh, no. Well,
do you go right into the offseason? No.
You learn something from everything.
You learn something from everything. I'm going to go home. I'm going to celebrate how I got rid of Carr, one of the greatest Raider quarterbacks to ever live. I'm going to go home, think about how I played the fans, how I get fans kicked out for having signs that say fire me. I'm going to go home and celebrate.
The staff will watch the tape tomorrow, and, we'll be very, precise with what we...
The staff is going to watch the tape. How about study the tape? Instead of watching it, how about you study it?
Seen, like I said, there's, we're going to play him again, and
we're going to play him again. Not till next year.
And so, we got, there's a lot of things we learned from the first time we played them, and there's going to be a lot of things we learn again, and there's things you learn about, players, situations, et cetera. So there's plenty to learn from each game.
Hey, Josh, what was your reaction to the ring around the rosy play? You find it?
There we go. Listen to his answer to this. Josh, what was your reaction to the ring around the rosy play that we spoke about? The merry-go-round play. What was your reaction to it? Did you consider it disrespect?
Played them, and there's going to be a lot of things we learn again. And
let's listen to this buffoonery.
About, players, situations, et cetera. So there's plenty to learn from each game.
Hey, Josh, what was your reaction to the ring around the rosy play? Did you find it disrespectful at all, or would you think?
Coach Reed does. He has some of those things, each game. And
what? What? As a Raider head coach, with the mystique of the Raiders, the entire ownership behind you, getting rid of the greatest Raider quarterback that we've had statistically, with that legacy behind you, getting mauled by the Kansas City Chiefs in a ring around the rosy merry-go-round play where they not only scored one touchdown, but they technically scored 2 touchdowns in front of our 20% of fans, in front of their home fans in our stadium. Did you feel disrespected as the leader of the Raiders by that ring around the rosy merry-go-round play? Did you, Josh McDaniels, feel disrespected by that? No. No. Not at all. I loved it. How dare you, good sir? Every Raider fan in the stands and at home, once we saw that play, we were all disrespected, embarrassed. And you can't even say that? Defend ourselves, defend our team, defend our fan base? Ridiculous. Who the heck are you? You are a snake. You are a snake. You are nowhere near the dedication to this team like Al Davis had for the Raiders. If Al Davis if Ian Gruden was on that stand being asked that same question, were you embarrassed? Gruden would have said, yes, and we deserved it. That's why Gruden took a bus around the stadium, because he had that little Raider mental fortitude in his huevos. Now they disrespected us on our home turf, in our home crowd, with the mystique behind you that you're supposedly leading. You ain't a Raider. You are not a Raider. Let's watch this buffoonery again for the last time.
Hey, Josh, what was your reaction to the ring around the rosy play? Did you find it disrespectful at all, or would you think?
Coach Reed does. He has some of those things, each game. And look, the game was still, at that point, we were still competing in it. They were trying to score. If they felt like that was a play that could.
At that point, we were still competing. At that point, your team sucks. Patrick Graham was exposed. You were exposed. The Raider fans were exposed to that travesty. You're not embarrassed. You don't feel like it was an insult.
Give them an opportunity to score a touchdown, which it almost did. There's shovel passes. I've run flea flickers and all that kind of stuff. And like I said.
Yeah. I'm not going to compare Andy Reid and the ring around the rosy merry-go-round play. I don't take disrespect in it. I've ran flea flickers. Have you ran in a circle on the home turf of the other team, then scored 2 touchdowns at will at midfield? It wasn't midfield, but I'm going to pretend it was. Have you done that? No, but I've ran flea flickers. And boy, those, I'm going to compare a flea flicker with his merry-go-round. You know, flea flickers are done by every NFL team. And I'm going to compare them to that travesty of the merry-go-round play against our Raiders. They're equal. Dude, you're one of those people that if you got hit with a stone or a brick, they would say, "Are you hurt?" You'd be like, with blood down your face, slurring your words like I do every day. You'd be like, they'd ask you, "Are you hurt?" No, not at all. It happens all the time. I mean, I've had pebbles thrown at me, and I've thrown pebbles.
Just because the game was in the fourth quarter doesn't mean it was out of hand yet. So
What? Just because the game was over, they were ahead by like 24 points, and it was in the fourth quarter with like 5 minutes left, doesn't mean it was out of hand. Doesn't mean the game was over. We got Devontae Adams and Jared Stidham.
no, I do not at all. Not at all.
Josh,
No, I don't think it was disrespect at all. Not at all. So you clearly don't think it was disrespect on how you did Derek Carr? And then publicly you stated that Derek Carr removed himself from the team? When basically you guys were like mobsters and be like, "Hey, Derek, do you think it's a good idea to be around the team in this emotional state?" Just letting Derek, do you think it's a bad idea to be around this team in your emotional state? Would it be better if you were at home relaxing and understanding the decision? "Yeah, you're right, Coach." Well, Derek removed himself from the team. We had a good talk.
obviously seen it at a high level. The Chiefs represent it at a high level. You've been here about a year now. You know, I'm not asking you to put a timeline on it, but do you think it's closer or further away for you guys to be where you need to be like that?
Further! Further! We're further away than when he became the head coach of this team. We are further and further away. We had Derek Carr, a playoff team. Then we added Devontae Adams, lost Derek Carr. No longer have a playoff team, has a losing team. We are further away. Can you put a timeline when we're going to win?
No, you know, there is no timeline on that. You know, I think the thing you do.
There's no timeline on when we're going to win. You know, we're in building mode. We're in building mode now. The first year was destruction. We're in building mode now. There's no timeline when we're going to win. But we are going to do something splashy before the start of the season. Somehow flashy, maybe get Tom Brady or something. So Raider fans will buy tickets again. And they'll forget all about the debacle that you have caused and Mark Davis has caused. We're going to forget all about it because we have a new shiny toy.
Is you take the best day you can have, and you continue to do that and produce those through the off season and improve the football team in any way that you can. You know, whether that's our process, what we choose to do, how we play, how we coach, the players that are on the team. You know, we have a lot of things to evaluate, obviously, and we know a lot more now than we did last January.
Oh, you do? Oh, damn. Man, you guys have learned. You have learned. You have learned, and I'm proud of you.
And we've got a year full of evidence of, you know, what we need to make better, you know, whether it's our problem.
We got a year full of evidence? So you got a year full of evidence of what you need to make better. It normally takes people a year to reveal that evidence and understand it, then to start to get better and improve. So if you got a year's worth of evidence in year one, year two is going to be trying to figure out the evidence and put it into a court case to try to get better. Then year three, maybe we can start building. Oh, my goodness. We had a good roster. Maybe not a good defense, but we had a decent roster offensively going into the season. Now we're back at square one. No, we're just missing a quarterback. What about an offensive line? Possibility of Josh Jacobs not coming back. I'm done with this buffoonery. I'm not going to watch any more of this press conference. I've exposed him enough. We don't need to do it. I'm going to come right back. We're going to talk about Derek Carr, and we're going to prove why he was a scapegoat, and we're going to talk about his final words to the Raider Nation. I'm irritated, y'all. I'll be right back.